Russo coming at you straight out of Brooklyn. Frankie Russo coming at you straight out of Brooklyn. YouTube Live, Facebook Live. We're popping over here in Brooklyn. Frankie Russo, how's everything? Yesterday was my mom's birthday, so I was, taking care of moms. Hey, Jonathan, thank you for the visit. I was taking care of moms yesterday, so because it was my mom's birthday yesterday, so we didn't come on last night. So we're coming on tonight. We'll be on the rest of the week. What's up, Jonathan? How are you, my brother? Yankees won another game. We beat the Baltimore Orioles, last place team. We need all these games because we're fighting for home field advantage throughout the playoffs. And right now we're ahead of Houston. I think Houston's 78-41 or something like that. And we're 81-41. So we got to continue our trajectory. We got Cleveland coming in. So we'll see. They had this kid, Adonis Rosa. He's on a 25-man roster now. I think he came in from Scranton. He pitched last night. Hey, Noah Wilson, thank you. I got my YouTube. I got Noah Wilson. Thank you for those kind words, Noah. What's up? Let me just send this kid a text to Noah Wilson. Noah, what's poppin', kid? So tonight, we got this crazies, right? We got the crazies, unfortunately. God bless you, Noah. Thank you for the kind words, my brother. So they got the crazies, Philadelphia. Once again, drug dealer, right? And according to before I get into this, okay, good. My Yankees, I just got to do my Yankee. Let me do my Yankees. The Giants were getting closer, so I'm going to give you a Giant take. I'm going to give you a drill down, nice Giant take. New York Football Giants, as we get closer to September 2nd, I think it is, or the following weekend for the NFL, the first game in the NFL. NBA, love a diehard Knick fan. We talk about Fredo. Oh, we're going to talk about him. That's ridiculous, right? Cuomo, for the grace of God, the Cuomos are not, I didn't agree with Governor Cuomo's policies, but he was a profoundly better politician than his sons. His sons are ridiculous, right? For the grace of God, go I. I mean, but for the grace of God. But anyway, we'll talk more about that. I saw the video. It's crazy. So my Yankees, right? We're getting ready for this. Judge G's going to get ready. The Yankees are getting ready. We're fighting for home field advantage. That's simple, right? Home field advantage. That's it. So, we're 81-41. The Astros, I think, are 78-43. The Astros, they said there's seven top hitters. It has an OPS of over 900, right? But truth be told, we're coming. The Yankees, Cleveland's on the come up. I hear you. They're coming into town starting tomorrow. Cleveland has got a nice squad. That Francisco Lindor is a nice shortstop, nice baseball player. They got Ramirez, the third, I think second or third baseman, Jorge Ramirez. They got a nice squad. They got pitching. They developed. They know how to develop starting pitching. I don't know what they got on the bullpen side of this thing, to be quite honest. I know they made some moves on at the July 31st trading deadline, but the Yankees got the thump, okay? And now I like what they're doing with these young kids. I wish Luis Cesar would have more faith in his fastball, quite frankly. I know we tried to do it. He's got to continue to work on fastball command. What up, Dan? We're going to do Fredo. We're going to talk Fredo. I'm getting to my Yankee sports talk. So my Yankees are moving nice, right? take one step at a time. We're focused. All these games count. We need home field advantage throughout the playoffs. That would be amazing. That means with the grace of God, a game 7 against the Astros, if we make it that far with God's grace, right? It's home. I like our chances in Yankee Stadium, right? I do. And so this is what the Yankees are doing. We're tearing down the wall. Finally, we're getting closer. We're creeping. We're creeping closer. So now let's get to the great President Donald John Trump. We'll talk about the Cuomos and Fredo, whatever his name is, from the Godfather, right? So outside looking in, no U.S. Congressional Oversight Committee, no International Atomic Energy Agency, no Joint Chiefs of Staff, no National Security Council, no access to classified docs, nor do I know anyone who has access to classified docs, court papers, judges' decisions, peer-reviewed journal articles, and well-sourced, well-researched open source articles. What research refers to quasi-model, quote-unquote statistical significance, and a likelihood, no probability. We focus on trends, instances, and patterns, and then we attempt to conceivably reach reasonable, responsible conclusions. And by the way, we believe our conclusions are close. Classifying information is the mean. We're within the standard deviation of the mean. The Russo disclaimer. This is all over my website, and every time I go on the air. So now, Bill's in a blue dress making a run at Monica. You're probably right. Who said that? Who said that? Dan. You're probably right, Dan. Right? So, okay. So with this, you want to talk? We'll talk about Fredo. We can talk about Fredo, and we can talk about these Philadelphia the 6 cot this cat shot horrific, right? This dude shot 6 police officers. Thank God they're not mortally wounded. They're going to live for the grace of God, right? And then he had 2 or 3 he captured, and he was like, I think he was in a hospital or something where he was holding them hostage. Well, apparently, according to Fox News, they were recently released. I listened to the police commissioner's press conference, and apparently, he was a drug dealer. This drug dealer, the attack, the attempted arrest, and the attack by the drug dealer, according to the police commissioner. According to the police commissioner, it was a lot. The activity and apparently probably the arsenal of weaponry that this drug dealer had in his possession was probably over the top. I mean, I don't know if we'll ever get the full take on this thing, because this is going to be one big crime scene, and you know how these crime scenes go, right? Especially with the local enforcement, and then when the federales get involved, oh my God, right? We'll never get the full throttle on this thing, right? But the truth be told, I hear drug dealer Philadelphia. You know what rings in my bell? My head goes off, like bells go off in my head. I go to my vectors, I go to my vectors. And you know something? I don't have incontrovertible truth. I don't have, I don't even know if I have statistically, I don't know if I'm statistically significant. I'm on a couch in Brooklyn. I'm not over there in Philadelphia on the ground, right? Truth be told. But man, these vectors, we're close with these vectors, right? So I'm going to show you the one vector I have here. I've showed it before on the show, but this is the vector that the president is trying to shut down from the U.S.-Mexican border, right? So this is the vector, right? I plotted this vector up in here on my show, on my Scope show, Twitter Scope show, in October of 17. This was during the analysis. We were trying to get information on the Mandalay Bay shooting, which, like in the Mandalay Bay shooting, we never got the full throttle. I mean, the Mandalay Bay shooting was ridiculous. The local enforcement came out, and then once the federales took over, the investigation was shut down, right? So over here, here's the here's Mexico, right? Now, it's crazy, right? Here's if I'm not mistaken, wait, okay, right. Here's San Antonio or Houston, right? Right, San Antonio to Houston to New Orleans, right? Here's San Antonio, right? San Antonio. through Houston, San Antonio, Houston, New Orleans, Louisiana. We're going up now, right? We're going to go past Macon County, Alabama, where a jihadi training camp was shut down by the federales. Sharaj Wahaj's son had a jihadi training camp in. We're going through Macon County, Alabama, past Atlanta, Georgia, through Charlotte, North Carolina, into D.C., into Philadelphia, right? Into Philly, and in New York City. From the poppy fields of Mexico, we're in Philadelphia. It's crazy, right? And these drug dealers, right? These, like the Mexican drug cartel, they're fully armed up. The laws are against them, and they know if they get arrested, they're looking at lifetime prison sentences, right? So they got the weaponry to hold off, and apparently he must have something. He must have had something that was pretty powerful, because not only, unfortunately, did he hit, thank God that they didn't, they're going to live, 6 Philadelphia police officers. In addition, he captured 2 or 3 others, and apparently, according to the police commissioner, they got them out of the kidnapping scenario, the hostage scenario, to the SWAT team, right? But truth be told, right, outside looking in, you can't rule out the U.S.-Mexican border here. The vectors are pretty clear, right? And these vectors, we've been talking about these vectors for some time. These vectors go all the way back to 2000 with the 9/11 hijackers and the terror cells in San Diego, in Phoenix, Arizona, and San Antonio, Texas, up to D.C., where they met their imam, Anwar al-Awlaki. So, we don't know who this individual is, right? We don't have any information. I'm not saying this is incontrovertible truth, but my feeling is, right off the top of my head, the vector from the U.S.-Mexican border, from the Mexican poppy fields to the streets of New York City, goes through Philadelphia. Come on, man. Come on, man. And guess what? He's a drug dealer. Why am I not shocked, right? So, truth be told, President Trump wants to shut this vector down. He's having a hard time. Somebody's making some serious dough off those poppy fields in Mexico in the deep state, man. Truth be told, right? And just to give you more information, right? This is a Judicial Watch article. According to Judicial Watch, Mexican cartels help Hezbollah infiltrate through Mexico, right? So in a case, U.S. versus Jamal Youssef case. Here's the article. It's on my website, frankierusso.media, right? Just to show you, there is, like, there's documented, according to this case, this U.S. versus Jamal Youssef case, there's some documentation that this Jamal Youssef was arrested in New York, admitted stealing weapons from Iraq for Hezbollah, and told authorities of a Hezbollah stockpile in Mexico. Included 100 M16 assault rifles, 100 AR-15 rifles, 2,500 hand grenades, C4 explosives, and anti-tank weapons. That same year, a Hezbollah terrorist was captured in Tijuana, and a senior Mexican military officer confirmed the group was conducting explosive training for members of the Mexican drug cartel. So the profile doesn't have to hit a Middle Eastern, right? Because we know Hezbollah has very strong, and we know from the FBI data on the Saudi ambassador to the United States attempted assassination by Quds Force, Hezbollah, Iran terror cell, right? Because Hezbollah is the Shiite terrorism arm of Iran. So, and they like to change the profile. And when I was on my show, I gave you 5 instances that I'm aware of where Hezbollah, Iran, Quds Force, Iranian Military Guard Corps terror cell changes the profile, right? So We have the poppy fields of Mexico to the streets of New York. They have to go through Philadelphia. Truth be told. In all likelihood, no probability at least, right? Truth be told. In addition, just to give you a little flavor to this, this is the U.S.-Mexican border, right? I just want to understand. Here's San Diego. They're in Tijuana, right? Here's El Paso, Texas, where the other shooting was. Here's the Ciudad Juarez, and it's where the Juarez cartel is. This is Arizona. This is where Los Zetas, the other cartel, is. And the Tijuana cartel is up here. And here is the U.S.-Mexican border: San Diego, Arizona, New Mexico, and here's Texas: El Paso, Texas; San Antonio, Texas; Houston, Texas. Then from Houston, Texas, the vector gets parallel to the Cartesian coordinate system. Physics 101. I'm an amateur scientist. Physics 101. The vector is parallel from Houston to New Orleans, Louisiana. Then it goes along, and that's basically a train ride, a car ride from New Orleans, Louisiana, through Macon County, Alabama, with that jihadi training camp that was shut down by the FBI. Like I said earlier, it passes alongside Atlanta, Georgia, through Charlotte, North Carolina, into D.C., into Philadelphia. There it is. A train, a car ride, and you got weapons from the U.S.-Mexican border, drugs from the poppy fields of Mexico up through to the streets of New York, through Philadelphia. Truth be told. Now, I don't have incontrovertible truth, but come on, man. Come on, man. Right? Big time drug smuggling from the U.S.-Mexican border. Big time. And then apparently we have peer-reviewed journal articles. The Penn State, I've mentioned this, the Penn State International Law Journal, claiming that the Mexican drug cartel flies drones from the U.S.-Mexican border to smuggle the drugs into America. So our analysis, basically, we use the position vectors on the ground, right? And this is why this border wall is so important, quite frankly, right? The infiltration is beyond belief. President Trump, and I say this but for the grace of God, if President Trump was the president 17 years ago, he would have built a fortress on the U.S.-Mexican border. And if a cockroach crossed over from Mexico to the United States, we would know about it. We would definitely know about it, right? We would definitely know about it. Truth be told, this is in some shape or form, guaranteed the U.S.-Mexican border is whether it's a distance from this attack, or whether they're directly implicated, whether the drugs directly came from the U.S.-Mexican border. In one shape or form, the U.S.-Mexican border is involved in some way, whether they are directly involved or they're indirectly involved. Guaranteed. Truth be told, very close, right? Now, just to show you how profound these vectors are, this is what I plotted that vector in October of 17, around the time of the Mandalay Bay shooting, to try to get better understanding of the terrain with those position vectors. This is what the New York Post published in February of this year, tracking heroin, right? How deadly drug gets from Mexico to New York City. They got to go to, and more times than not, they got to go to Philadelphia. And basically, so it's from the poppy fields of Mexico, which is down here. Here's the vector, down here, the poppy fields of Mexico, to the streets of New York. And through the streets, to get to the streets of New York, from down here, you're going through Philadelphia. Truth be told, you're going through Philadelphia. Tracking heroin. This article, it's on my website. You could download it. Frankie Russo.media, America's Team.nyc. And it's pretty profound. Is this uncontrovertible truth? No, I'm not going to say this is incontrovertible truth. I don't have all the facts. I'm not on the ground. And quite frankly, one state, I don't know if this guy surrendered already or they whacked him or what, because they apparently now they surrounded him, right? He's like contained, right? Apparently, according to the police commissioner, I saw the last press conference. So whether they're going to take him, he's going to surrender, they're going to take him out. But truth be told, it's going to happen within the next 24 hours, probably, in all likelihood, no probability. So once they get a hold of that crime scene, son, and then the local enforcement's going to do their thing. Once the federales get in there, forget about it. We ain't going to know. It's going to be a lot different because only God knows. So just to show you how profound these vectors are, this is the reason why President Trump is building a border wall. We need a border wall on the U.S.-Mexican border. And only God knows what's going on. I don't know what's going on the northern border. But I believe, whether it's directly involved or indirectly involved in this shooting with this drug dealer and these Philadelphia police officers, because that's how they roll, right? Mexican drug cartel is loaded with artillery, right? These guys are probably loaded because they know the law's against them. Once they get caught, they're gonna throw the book at them. The laws are so much against the drug dealers that they'd rather shoot it out with the police, quite frankly. And then they got to deal with I guess the inmates as well. I guess that's probably not a good scenario as well. So for the drug dealers, so it's life or death for these guys, right? And he had something, truth be told, I'm not there, I don't know, but based on what the police commissioner said, that this confrontation, which started, I think, in the afternoon today, and it's getting closer and closer. From the last time I was watching Fox News, it was getting closer and closer to a conclusion, right? It was a lot bigger than what was being put out by the mainstream media. Really, right? So this guy must have had some serious hardware, quite frankly, right? Serious hardware this guy had to have. Some serious hardware. So we're looking at I mean, I don't know, but conceivably this is like, this is not a guy hanging out in the corner, trying to sell pot, right? This guy is, he's got some serious hardware. So truth be told, in all likelihood, no probability, whether it's directly or indirectly, the U.S.-Mexican border is whether the drugs came from the Mexican border, whether the weapons came from the U.S.-Mexican border in an indirect route, whether they were shot in drones in New Orleans, Louisiana, from the U.S.-Mexican border, and they were driven up to Philadelphia through this vector. Truth be told, right? From the poppy fields of Mexico to the streets of New York, you got to go through Philadelphia. So once again, as in the Mandalay Bay shootings, where that thing was, the local enforcement came out and they gave us the initial assessment, and then the federales got deeper and deeper involved in the investigation. That thing was shut down. We never got a report, and the truth be told, it was horrific. We were, the American people were attending a concert and they were getting shot out, right? Over here, we have our great first responders. By the way, truth be told, God bless the men and women of the United States Armed Forces, and God bless our first responders. They put their lives on the line to defend the American people, and thank you for your service. Thank you for your sacrifice, man. They are amazing. Like when those radical Islamists hit our Twin Towers, the first responders were there. And apparently, according to the police commissioner, they were unrelenting. They were amazing individuals coming to the aid of the six shot Philadelphia police officers, who fortunately are all going to survive. And then the SWAT team, according to the police commissioner on Fox News, claimed that they they masterminded a tremendous strategy and were able to take away to get the two or three other officers that this loon job was holding hostage. This guy's got to have some serious hardware. He's a drug dealer, so we're looking like something like a Mexican drug cartel dealer, probably something like that. Who knows, right? But something like that, because this guy, to hold off the Philadelphia police force like this, hold hostages, shoot 6 Philadelphia police officers, then take 2 or 3 hostage. This guy had to have some serious hardware. Truth be told, right? And he wasn't standing on no corner selling pot. This is some serious stuff going on over here, probably, right? In all likelihood, no probability. In all right? Serious hardware. People want to talk about Fredo. Okay, let's talk about. So I gave you my vectors. You know, I love to talk about these position vectors. They tell you, you know, it's interesting. You know, I find it interesting anyway. You know, obviously this is horrific stuff. We have to worry about the men and women of the United States Armed Forces, our first responders, our local enforcement agencies, our police force, like in the NYPD. They're great individuals. They're great individuals, and they do great work. The Philadelphia Police Office, that commissioner looks like he's right on point from the Philadelphia Police Commission, the police force. So the truth be told, you know, the truth be told, it's just, I'm sorry. I hate to be so cynical. I just can't rule out that new U.S.-Mexican border and the poppy fields of Mexico. And in some shape or form, the Mexican drug cartel is involved in some way. Like they were involved in the whacking of the Saudi ambassador to the United States in 2011. They're involved with Hezbollah. They got a stockpile over there. Something is moving up the vector to get to New York through Philadelphia. It's crazy. I talk about it all the time. A drug dealer in Philadelphia. Why am I not shocked? Right? And then we go to the whack job. Okay, now. Their father, Andrew Cuomo and Chris Cuomo. Their father, I didn't agree with his policies. Okay? But he was by far, not even close, a better politician than those 2 loon jobs. Andrew Cuomo and Chris Cuomo. They can't even come close to their father, right? Their father, I didn't agree with his politics. He was too liberal for me. But he was by far a better politician. Not even close. Okay? His loon job, governor of New York, talking about lone wolves and giving away college tuition for free, raising property taxes in New York. I mean, it's just beyond belief. Between the city and what they're doing to the public school system with the 20-something billion dollars, and the system doesn't produce for the money anyway. You don't get the bang for your buck. These kids are not getting educated properly, right? Then in addition, now his brother, who's with CNN, talks about. I mean, it's beyond belief, right? Who are these people, right? Right? Who are these people, quite frankly? Right? Right, Lawrence from YouTube? Who's this? Lawrence from YouTube Live. I got YouTube Live going on, and I got Facebook Live. I love it. So I saw the video on Chris Cuomo, and his cat came up to him, talked about Fredo. I don't understand how he brought in Fredo and he got to the N word. I don't get it. I just don't get it. The truth be told, I don't get it. How from Fredo you get from the Godfather you get to the N word? That's what I mean. It's beyond belief, beyond belief. Fugazis. From over here, I'll give you old school. Those cats are Fugazis. Fagazis, right? Fredo. It's the N word. It's equivalent to the N word. Are you serious? Like for real? You know? Hey, all my grandparents from both sides are from Italia. I like I like Italian food. I like Italian women. I like Italian clothes. I like Italian cars. I like Italian music, but I love my country. I love America, right? But I love America. I'm proud of where my family's from, Italia. One day, but for the grace of God, I would love to visit. The world gets a little. Honestly, I'm concerned about leaving the country with these loon jobs, right, all over the world. And there's some reports that some of them are in Italia. I'd love to go to Italia. I would. I would love to go to Israel. I'd love to go to parts of Italia. I'd love to go to St. Francis of Assisi. I'd love to visit his town, Padre Pio's town in Italia. I'd love to go to Jerusalem and Israel. Be afraid these loon jobs in throughout the world. I hate to be, call me Islamophobic, call me xenophobic. I could care less, quite frankly. I'm just being honest. But the truth be told, I love my country. I love America, the greatest country on the planet, right? That's it. So what this guy equated Fredo to the N word. You got to be kidding me, son. Seriously. You don't think that's kind of a stretch? What do I think about the troop movements to the right next to in Hong Kong? Okay. I don't know. I actually haven't really drilled down into that with the Hong Kong thing because I got taken by this Philadelphia thing, and I've been this other thing with the New York Times editorial board. I spoke about it all last week about this editorial, this Fugazi editorial board, saying that we have after the shootings of the following weekend, this triggered me, claiming that we have a white Christian nationalist terrorist problem, comparing it to the global jihadi problem, which I thought was really dishonest. It really triggered me, quite frankly, really triggered me beyond belief, So Lawrence wants to go and protest. He wants to go to Hong Kong. I don't know what's going on over there, son. I don't know. China, Asia, China. I know China moves. I tell you this much. China, the government may be highly, highly tyrannical, quite frankly, right? But somewhere along the way, China places a tremendous emphasis on its economy, right? Truth be told. So that's one of the things that President Trump, our great president, I tell you, I was watching one of his videos. He is so, I think President Trump is brilliant. I really do. He's don't forget, people forget, he's 3 years in office. The presidency, how do you prepare for it? President Trump ran $1 billion business, and he said the United States government is huge. So basically, it's on-the-job training. So President Trump's got 3 years of on-the-job training, absorbing everything. Okay, people want to pawn him off like he's this knee-jerk, uninformed leader, which is ridiculous, and that's the reason why he beat them. Truthfully, truth be told, and now the campaign he's running, he's got infrastructure he didn't have in 2016. He's got a social media that I talk about all the time. It's on steroids. I don't know everything he's got, but I know he's got algorithms popping. I know he's got search engines popping. This guy's got it going on the campaign side of great President Donald John Trump. But for the grace of God, he gets reelected. Hashtag Trump 2020 landslide. These politicians that are running against him are amateurs. They're amateurish. These are legislators like Kamala Harris, like Joe Biden. I mean, he was a vice president, but He's out of touch. Bernie Sanders, I think, though he's a legislator, Bernie Sanders has got a good chance, I believe, of being the Democratic candidate, because to get through that pack of candidates from the political perspective, from a purely political perspective, you got to have an initial following. You got to have an initial following to get through the pack. And Bernie Sanders has got that. He starts off 20%, I would believe. The truth be told, I think he starts off with 20% in a primary. And we'll see, because you got, what, 15 to 20 people on the ballot? It reminds me of 2016, how President Trump gained the momentum. So I think Bernie Sanders has got a good shot of pulling it off. But with the DNC, the corrupt DNC, with the Hillary Clinton corrupt DNC, right? They apparently claim that they've taken another light and another look at the super delegates, which they used to give the nomination, because he couldn't get it. Barack Hussein Obama couldn't get it through a regular electoral process. He had to get it through it had to be given to him by Howard Dean and company, right? Truth be told. So Lawrence is my YouTube friend. He's triggered. They got some live thing going on in there. I'm not quite sure what it is, but so we'll see what happens with Hong Kong. But anyway, we were talking about so I think that Bernie Sanders has got a good shot based on, because to start off, obviously the beginning elections are going to mean a lot, especially the first one. Then the second one, it goes Iowa. I'm not sure when New Hampshire comes in play, but Iowa, New Hampshire, and then the things, I think South Carolina eventually. So these Democratic primaries in the beginning are going to be very important. And I think Bernie Sanders, people are looking at, like the DNC establishment don't want him, right? Because he's an independent and he's not really, but they're all stealing all those progressives, all those Democratic socialists, which he is, are loon jobs, right? Loonies. But they're stealing all his stuff, right? And they're running off his platform, basically. And they're saying they're Democrats. Horrific, right? I think Bernie's got a good shot to pull it off. He starts, and President Trump will have his breakfast, lunch, and dinner guaranteed. Bernie Sanders won't know what hit him when President Trump gets through with him. Bernie Sanders, he'll have him. Oh my God, that would be theater. President Trump against Bernie Sanders. That would be theater. Because right now, Trump's 3 years in. He's got a track record. He's got a tremendous track record, what he's done with the economy, what he's done with the energy sector. He's got rid of the regulations, bringing businesses, corporations back. Jobs. These are big things. We were heading in the Obama-Clinton crime family, anti-American vector field for 8 years had us going in a very bad direction. From foreign policy, he had a chokehold. He had a chokehold on drilling. Trump just took it away. President Trump just took all the obstructions away and allowed them to drill, right? And then regulations, the chokehold on the economy. He took it all away. And then what he did with the energy sector, oh my God. That alone, what he gets from the energy sector is like what he's trying to do with China. Use the economy, use the hot economy, the American economy, to try to get a better trade deal, try to get a better rapport, a better relationship with China through the economy. President Trump, he don't have troops on the border. Well, there are troops there before he got there, right? There were 50,000 plus troops in Guam, Japan, and South Korea. So that's what this is all about. with North Korea, right? China controls North Korea. But President Trump is what I'm trying to say is President Trump is not using military, right? He's using the economy to get China to come to the table and negotiate a fair reciprocal deal where it benefits China and it benefits America. That's what President Trump's trying to do. He's using the economy. And from the economy, by having a strong economy, not only does our domestic homeland security get better, also our foreign policy in reference to American interests, the people of American people's interests gets better because the global economy obviously affects everything. But President Trump wants to get better deals with these countries economically, and rightly so. And he's using the influence of the economy, of the hot economy, that he smartly, and this is President Trump. He's going to do it the Trump way. And boy, oh boy, is this President Trump, to me, I think he's a genius, quite frankly. Absolute genius. The way he handles the media, oh my God. Right? The bully pulpit, nobody better. He's better than Obama on the pulpit, on the bully pulpit. He's better than Obama. And I'm not a Barack Obama fan. I'm not a fan of his policies. And quite frankly, I don't believe the Obama narrative. I don't believe he was born in Hawaii. I don't claim to know, but I don't believe Barack Obama and who he is and anything. I think he's one big fraud, as I believe Hillary Clinton is one big fraud, and the Clintons, right? President Trump, you can say what you want about President Trump. I'm a big time supporter of President Trump from when I was at ABC, and he went down the escalator in 2015. We supported President Trump. When he declared himself a candidate, we were right on with the president, all the way to ABC till he won. It was unbelievable. And I believe when it comes down to it, because right now they're using these polls and they're playing with the polls and they, the methodology, the way the sampling is done and the samples are put together, and especially from the Democratic side, are always very questionable because they can play with the numbers, they could play with the sample size, they could play with the actual methodology of the sample to get the poll to be beneficial to the Democratic candidates. That's part of the fake news, mainstream media, and the fake intelligence community, right? And just the fact of life. That's why President Trump won. And that's what was so amazing about his victory. But for the hand of God, I believe the hand of God was on Trump. And I believe with the grace of God, President Trump, because he's got an infrastructure he didn't have in 2016, campaigning infrastructure. He's got the office of the presidency at his disposal. He's the president of the United States. Truth be told, I hope he hope he gets with the grace of God, he gets reelected 2020, and I hope he runs for another term after that. I hope he runs for 3 terms, 4 terms. We need him in the White House. God forbid, one of these loony lefties catches fire with the electorate, and we don't have President Trump there. Oh my God! Oh my goodness gracious! Could you imagine? Did you watch that Democratic Socialist conference? That thing was horrific. Can't clap. You're making too much noise. They're like snowflakes. I think they're all going to start to, like they cried on the day of the election. I'm telling you, it's unbelievable. And what's really scary, though, we got to watch are those big tech social media companies. I was watching. I haven't actually drilled down on it, so I can't really say that but it's scary. What's the Rizzo Corporation? Somebody who's Bobby Rizzo? I don't know who that is. Bobby Rizzo is the Republican running in Chicago for mayor. I don't know. Good question, Lawrence from YouTube Live. I don't know. Bobby Rizzo. Is that the mayor? Is that the mayor? Is he related to the mayor of Rizzo from Philadelphia? Lawrence? Crazy. So, truth be told, we got vectors going from the poppy fields of Mexico to the streets of New York City, and they got to go through Philadelphia. A drug dealer shot unfortunately, shot 6 Philadelphia police officers, but for the grace of God, they didn't die. Thank you, Jesus, right? Then he took 2 or 3 hostage. Then the SWAT team got them. And according to the police commissioner, this whole episode was a lot bigger than what was being put out in mainstream media. And based on the way this whole thing went down, only God knows the serious hardware that this drug dealer had. So this guy must have been one of the big pins in the drug dealing business in Philadelphia. Truth be told, right? We don't know. I don't have incontrovertible truth, but in all likelihood, in all probability, it's looking to trend in that direction. So whether it's directly or indirectly, we believe the U.S.-Mexican border and the vector that we've been talking about, and I showed it to you earlier today, this vector here, from the streets, from the poppy fields of Mexico to the streets of New York City, through Philadelphia to the streets of New York City. We plotted this up here in my couch in Brooklyn. We believe that the U.S.-Mexican border, and this is why we need a border wall. This is why we need a fortress on the U.S.-Mexican border. We have militarization on the U.S.-Mexican border. We have drone bases, but I don't know if they're weaponized. I'm not sure. I think they're more there for surveillance. We have some military bases like Fort Bliss. We have a New Mexico. We have an intelligence center, but I don't think. I mean, I'm outside looking in, right? I'm not sitting in the Pentagon with a snapshot of all our military bases on the U.S.-Mexican border, but I don't think there's a command center over there, and that's what the president really wants. I mean, he talked about that during the campaign, and now he's in the political world now, and now he's negotiating. President Trump would love to put a command center, a Pentagon command center, on the U.S.-Mexican border. Oh my God, he would love to do that. Unquestionably, he would have did that 17. He would have got it 17 years ago, 2002, a year removed from the horrific hit on the World Trade Center. He could have got pretty much anything he wanted over there if he was president. He wouldn't have put a fence there like they put a fence there. President Trump would have put a freaking fortress on the U.S.-Mexican border. If a cockroach crossed from Mexico to the United States, we would know about it. That's how profound of a border presence we would have. We got to do it. We can't be naive about the world. We were. I mean, the naivety, right? We had before September 11th, 2001. It's got to be wiped away. Even though with the Obama-Clinton crime family, everybody got naive again. And meanwhile, he's giving 20,000 mad pads and 400 FIM 92s to the radical Islamists in Libya, the North African Middle Eastern region. Gun running from the White House. Apparently Brennan was monitoring the gun running. Beyond belief. Brennan was monitoring the gun running out of Benghazi. John Brennan, the fearless CIA operative, the spy master, the great spy master, John Brennan. He was in Riyadh in '96, and the Khobar Towers were attacked in Bahrain, not far away, right off the coast of the Gulf of Persian Gulf. And he claimed that Hezbollah, because Hezbollah, according to the FBI, did it. Hezbollah, with Iran, the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps, the brigadier general from the Iranian embassy in Damascus. So Brennan gets on these oversight committees. Oh, Hezbollah are moderates. Meanwhile, he was stationed in Riyadh in '96. So he witnessed firsthand the terror attacks by Hezbollah. We're being sold. Frankie make a Discord. That Lawrence in my YouTube live, he's who's John Howard? I don't even know. Who's Bobby Rizzo? Make a Discord, a Discord server. What is that? I don't know. So, right? So we got our great president. This is what? We're in August. We got these loon jobs. There's got to be a when is let me see. Let me before I get off the air, let me see. When is this primary? Iowa Democratic primary season. Let's see when it kicks off. Schedule. Let's see. 2020 presidential election calendar. Oh, the New York Times. You know what a piece of work. Pieces of work. Let's see. Okay, so the debate was June. July is the second. The third Democratic primary debate is in September 12th and 13th in Houston. The fourth Democratic debate is in October, 5th, 6th in December. So when are the primaries? Oh, okay, here we go. So February 3rd, 2020 is the Iowa caucus. New Hampshire's February 11th. And South Carolina is February 15th. Like I said, I was right. So the first three primaries are pretty much going to dwindle this field down pretty considerably, right? To 3 or 4 candidates, probably, of the field of 15 to 20. So initially, Democratic delegates by wow, look at this. By South Carolina is 54. And then 36 is in Nevada, so that's 90. Wait. Right. Okay, here we go. Right. And New Hampshire's okay, so wait. So Iowa's 41 for Democrat and New Hampshire's 24, so that's 65. So conceivably, and Nevada's 36, huh? Wow. So that's February. For the month of February, let's see. Right, and February is the 29th, South Carolina. So it's 54, and so it's okay. So the Republican is before. Wait, okay. So here's where it goes. So February is February is Iowa, New Hampshire. So that's 65 for the Democratic candidate. 36. So that's 65 and 36 is 101, right? And then on February 29th is 54. So it's 155 delegates for the first month in the Democratic primary. That's 100, what'd I say? 155 delegates. That's a lot of delegates, right? So as we know, the way these presidential elections go, the way these presidential primaries go, it's all about momentum, right? So I believe the way these candidates are going, I think Bernie Sanders stands a very good chance of gaining some headway, gaining some steam after the month of February, because you're going to need to maintain your position in these primaries. You're going to need an initial following. There's going to be so many candidates running. You're going to need an initial following to separate you from the pack, like President Trump had. Bernie Sanders, I believe, probably, in all likelihood, probably has that. So he'll get 20%. That's a lot. 20% is a lot in a field of 10, 15, 20 candidates. That's a lot. I think he can get 20%. And then as he keeps moving through Iowa, New Hampshire, Nevada, and closes with South Carolina. So Bernie Sanders could muster some steam. He already had an inherent inherent campaign mechanisms from 16, and he probably, knowing these politicians, right, he probably kept it alive. So he already had the structure in place. He's already gone through it in 16. So he's got to be formidable, especially from the jump. It's very important in these elections. I'm not saying it doesn't mean that somebody can't come later on, but to get a jump in the beginning of this presidential primary process is very important for candidates, speaking purely from a political perspective. And that's why I think Bernie Sanders is going to be quite formidable, especially from Jump Street. Even though they're going to attack him, right? They're going to go after him because they're going to have to. The Cory Bookers, the Kamala Harrises, the Warrens, the Joe Biden, right now, because he's the vice president from the prior administration, so he has a little more name recognition. But Bernie Sanders, I think, is going to give him a run for his money, even from Jump Street. I think Bernie's supporters are more gun ho for Bernie Sanders than they are for Joe Biden. That's my opinion. That's why I think Bernie Sanders is going to be quite formidable when these primaries kick off in February of next year. On the Democratic side, obviously. And I think President Trump is going to have Bernie Sanders for breakfast, lunch, and dinner comes to election season. Oh my God. They don't know what it's like. Now you got a seasoned campaigner in President Trump. President Trump was arguably, I'm talking from a political perspective, was arguably one of the greatest presidential campaigners in our history. The way he mounted that campaign. First time in American presidential politics history, an outsider won. He was an outsider, right? A businessman became president of the United States. An outsider. First time he ever held public office, right? And look at all the flack he got from, forget the loony left, right? The progressives, the Democratic Socialists. But his own party gave him a hard time. We had a mole in there with Jeff Sessions. Jeff Sessions was recusing himself from everything. He says, President Trump, give me the Attorney General's position. And then he says, well, I'm recusing myself after he got it. He said, he got confirmed. I'm recusing myself from the Russian frame job. I'm recusing myself from the Clinton email scandal. And I'm recusing myself from the Uranium One scandal. I'm recusing myself. Jeff Sessions recused himself. So why didn't he just quit? Right? Why didn't he just quit? And then he put President Trump's enemies on horseback, and he sat there. I have my honor. Give me a break. Another fraud. Join our Discord. They have a, all right, Lawrence. God bless you. So what time is it? I'm on the air for about an hour. Wow. Time flies. It's got to be what? It's got to be 11:37. I don't want to stay on much longer. So today was a crazy day. I really would love to get back to the Kelly Moore article. I was reading through it. I want to get to, because I got this thing with, I'm looking at this thing with, because I think with the because of what the New York Times published, it really triggered me. It really did. I thought it was really blatantly dishonest. And to compare, claiming that we have a white Christian nationalist terrorist problem, comparing it to the global jihadi problem, where the global jihadi problem, they killed millions of Americans. I mean, thousands of Americans. They killed thousands of Americans in our homeland. They came here. They had an infrastructure already in this country. They were meeting with imams. The imams are in these terror cells are, unfortunately, they're very important because they take according to Andrew McCarthy, Blind Sheik prosecutor, they take the verses from the Quran to keep the radicalization, to radicalize these Islamists. There was even a blind one that knew the Quran wrote. And they used, because in Andrew McCarthy's testimony to the oversight committees in the Senate in 2016, and in the article that he wrote for the Weekly Standard, he was quoting scripture, he was quoting texts from the Quran that they were using in the 1993 World Trade Center bombing. This is crazy stuff, man. Crazy stuff. So that triggered me. And I want to get back to that article by Kelly Moore, the U.S., the assistant to the U.S. attorney. She was there for about 10 to 11 years. And she was on a lot of those cases, especially the Brooklyn cases with the blind sheik. So very interesting. So that, and there's something that from the Claire Lopez article that I read last week about in my response to this. I was reading from the Claire Lopez, and she was talking about the Libya, the case of material support, where the first time in 10 years since the horrific hit on September 11, 2001, where we killed 3,000 to 5,000 Americans, the destruction of the World Trade Center, 10 years removed, the Obama-Clinton crime family armed, materially supported Al-Qaeda foreign fighters that go back to the Afghan Taliban versus Soviet Union with money, weapons, and training. Manpads, 20,000 manpads and 400 U.S. FIM-92s. And that article was incredible. And she mentioned some radical Islamists in there, like Abu Yahya al-Libi, who was one of the Al-Qaeda foreign fighters that go back to the Afghan Taliban versus the Soviet Union. He also goes back to the 1990s with the Pan-Islamic Summit in Sudan, with Osama bin Laden, Omar Bashir, Hassan al-Turabi. So it's interesting because I didn't know this, that he was, I knew he was Libyan, but I didn't know he actually worked out a deal with the government in England. I want to drill down on that. So I want to drill down on this because this is like crazy. So I'm going to talk briefly about this, and then tomorrow I'm going to see if we can get into it. So I want to finish the Kelly Moore article, and I want to get into this because this it's on my brain. So Abu Yahya al-Libi, for what I know of him, right? He's from Libya. I don't know whether he's related to one of these guys. I don't know whether he's related. He's related to another radical Islamist from Libya. I'm going to find that out. But according to Claire Lopez, he worked out a deal with the English government. So we know that there was a big Libyan migration to Manchester, England in the 90s, right? And eventually what came out, because there was a Manchester bombing in England. I had the vectors. I have the vector. I got the map and I had the vector. right? There was a Libyan Islamic Fighting Group, which was the group that was formed to take out Gaddafi. The Transnational Council with Mustafa Jalal and Abdel Hakim Belhaj. Abu Ya'al-Libi, according to Claire Lopez, became was involved with the English government or the English intelligence. I don't know, it's MI6, MI5, or something like that, right? But because I remember reading it online, and I was like blown away. So he's involved with that, and then you had the English politicians. This is how bad England is, right? You wonder why, right? English politicians encouraging the Libyan Britons to go back to Libya to fight against Gaddafi, to get him ousted, right? He ended up getting whacked in October of 2011. He was in power since 69. He couped over 40 years. And pretty much his relationship with the radicalisms, according to Claire Lopez, was that he would imprison them until his son got involved, and the Libyan embassy, probably American State Department officials, convinced Gaddafi with his son to release these radical Islamists, and they end up coming together, banding together, and that's what. So the Obama Clinton crime family, after Gaddafi gave his weapons of mass destruction to the prior administration, the Bush administration, the Obama Clinton crime family anti-American vector field killed him, and that wasn't good. I'm not saying Gaddafi was a good guy, but they killed him, right? With NATO, England, and France, and they armed, materially supported with money, weapons, and training. They were bribing the Gaddafi general who left the Gaddafi regime, General Yunus, and joined the radical Islamists. They ended up killing him so they could control the arsenal of weapons that Gaddafi left them. 20,000 man-pads. These are missiles, remote missiles that the Islamists put on. They use them they shoot from their shoulder. They can take out a helicopter, a Chinook helicopter, which they've done. We've talked about this in the past. We'll talk about it again. And they could take out. So this whole thing, they could take out airliners. So this whole thing that the Obama Clinton crime family purported in Libya, right? So why are we talking about this stuff? There's a connection with this Abu Ya'al-Libi in England. And conceivably with England, there's some other rumblings about England, money, businessmen, and Osama bin Laden. So I want to see, I haven't actually drilled down and looked at it. I want to see if there's something profound that went on with England that's going, because I know there's this Qalam Foundation, which is with Noman Benoitman. It's funny because I spoke about Noman Benoitman. I was reading the article on the air, the Claire Lopez article. She speaks about Noman Benoitman. I was blown away because I looked at his bio, and I thought his bio was fugazi. He was supposed to be a reformed radical Islamist that goes all the way back to the Afghan Taliban, the Soviet Union, the Pan-Islamic Summit in Sudan. He was involved in the Gaddafi ouster in Libya in 2011. And all of a sudden, he's a reformed radical Islamist getting paid he's the executive director of the Qalam Foundation, getting paid by the English government to help the English government deal with the radical Islamists. And this stuff is beyond belief. As Abu Ya'al-Libi was whacked by a drone in September or June, in June of 2012, and that's when I floated that article, which I'll bring back, that article on him that was put into the news cycle of Abu Ya'al-Libi, and claiming that, so it was released by Reuters at 2:30 a.m. on the Reuters server that Abu Ya'al-Libi was whacked on September 11, 2012, the day of Benghazi, on 2:30 Eastern Standard Time. The Reuters company on their server posted an article on Abu Ya'al-Libi, claiming that implying that the Benghazi, because they were eventually laying the groundwork for the Obama Clinton crime family response to Benghazi, that it was a result of a video of Ayman al-Zawahiri from Al-Qaeda claiming that the Benghazi hit was revenge for the the drone hit on Abu Yahya, Libya in June of 2012. So beyond belief, right? I showed it because Libya is 7 hours ahead of us. So that thing was posted at 2:30 a.m. on the Reuters server. It was blogged. So it's 9:30 a.m. in Libya. Somebody's watching. From the Situation Room, was it John Brennan? Was it Leon Panetta? Was it James Comey? Was it James Clapper watching we know Brennan was monitoring the gun running. He was monitoring the gun running from the White House. Were they watching the Benghazi hit from the Situation Room? Was Barack Hussein Obama watching it from the Situation Room? Was Hillary Rodham Clinton watching it from the Situation Room? Pretty interesting. So, but the reason why I want to go into Libya with this thing, because it's really interesting with the Abu Yahya Libya and his connection to the English government, the England's intelligence agency. In addition, these English entrepreneurs maybe funneling money to Osama bin Laden. What the heck is going on over here, right? As our Secretary of State, and we talk about this, our Secretary of State, Michael Pompeo, I got the article, it was published by Free Beacon. I think it was Adam Credo or Bill Gertz. Two great reporters. The Beacon is an issue, right, with Fusion GPS, the overall Beacon, the executives, but some of the reporters there are unbelievable, right? So for people who don't know, Fusion GPS was involved in that horrific Russian fix that they tried to put on our great president, Donald John Trump. But this guy, Bill Gertz or Adam Credo, one of those guys, wrote this article on Iran and America, the Obama Clinton crime family giving Iran access to our banking system. So we've talked about this with the funneling of the 1.7 billion from US dollars to euro notes, and how we believe that it was given to the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps. I got 5 sources. The Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps, who was deemed it was a government entity deemed by the United States Treasury under our great president, Donald John Trump, as a foreign terrorist organization. First time a government entity was deemed a foreign terrorist organization in our history by the United States Treasury, by the United States government. And President Trump did that. Thank you, Jesus, right? So we got all these loose ends here. I want to see if we can tie it together. Abu Yahya Libya, these English entrepreneurs, Osama bin Laden, and we'll see. And Benghazi and Libya, we'll see what the tie-in is. It could be interesting. So I'm going to look into that tomorrow or next day, because I want to get the Kelly Moore article off my desk. So I got some people in my room here, in the YouTube live room. Hey, how's it going, bro? I'm over here in Lyndhurst. At Lawrence showed me your channel. Thank you, Lawrence. You're the best. God bless you. Okay, Scooby 331, whoever you are. Thank you for the kind words. Because it's kind of late. So Lawrence is putting together he's got this guy Haas, and they were talking about Frank B. Oh, so Frank B. Parker called me Fredo. I really don't care. You're gonna call me whatever, you know. Frank Parker called me Fredo. Haas called me Fredo. You know, I could care less, quite frankly. Oh my goodness. I know what I am. I know what I stand for, you know, but for the grace of God Almighty. So we had a good night. It's about 1:14. I'm out of here for about an hour, 14 minutes. Facebook Live, YouTube Live. We had a good show. I will be on the air tomorrow night, which will be Thursday. And with God's grace, that's tomorrow night. And with God's grace, I'll be on the air Friday night. And then we'll take a night off. And we'll keep this popping. God bless you, Lawrence. Good luck with your Discord and your hope your group grows. Keep me in the loop. I'll be on tomorrow night. Yankees are playing Cleveland. Cleveland's on the come up. We have to defend because we are fighting for the New York Yankees, New York Yankee baseball. I love my Yankees. They're a great baseball team. A lot of depth. The depth is beyond belief, right? So I was looking at this kid, Osiel Rodriguez, a Cubano, right? 16 years old. I think the Yankees signed him. I think they gave him on $600,000. 15 to 16 years old. He was throwing 96 miles an hour. And he comes in, he throws a yakka from different angles. This kid is only 15 or 16 years old. I think the Yankees signed him. Osiel Rodriguez. Unbelievable. We got this kid, Adonis Rosa. He's got a nice, easy gas. He's not 6'5", but I like he's got moxie. And then we're bringing Jonathan Loizaga. I like that kid, man. Leave him alone. Let him throw his 98 on the black. Let him develop the confidence, build the fastball command up, and then he could drop some yakkers on him. Leave him alone, man. Leave Severino alone. Let him be Nolan Ryan. Let him be Dwight Gooden, man. Let him throw out of the ball. Let him throw out of the ball, please. Hopefully he can get up to 99, 100 again. That'd be unbelievable. The Yankee pitching is coming. We're getting ready to make some serious moves in October. Look out, everybody. The Yankees are coming. The Yankees are coming. I'm telling you. Love my Yankees, man. So I'm getting out of here. God bless you all. Thank you for your visits. Thank you for the visits YouTube Live. Thank you for the visits in Facebook Live. God bless you all. God bless the men and women of the United States Armed Forces. Thank you for the service you're providing me so I can do what I love to do. And that's broadcast is one of the things anyway. So God bless the men and women of the United States Armed Forces. Thank you for your service. God bless the greatest country on the planet. God bless the first responders. Absolutely. The local law enforcement agencies like the NYPD, like the Philadelphia Police Department. God bless y'all. God bless the first responders and the service that you're providing us. God bless you. And thank you for your service. Thank you for your sacrifice. Providing us with the safety and the freedoms that we so cherish, right? So God bless the greatest country on the planet. God bless the men and women of the United States Armed Forces. God bless the first responders. And God bless our great president, Donald John Trump. Hashtag Trump 2020 landslide. You better believe it. This is Frankie Russo. I'll see you tomorrow night, man. Probably be 8, 9 o'clock. I'll try to, hopefully the Yankee game goes. Hopefully we could jump off to some lead. We're playing home, so maybe we could keep hitting because Cleveland could pitch. And we're home. We gotta represent our great Yankees with the grace of God. So God bless you all in the room. And I'll see you tomorrow night, 8, 9, 10 o'clock. But I know it's Eastern Standard Time. I don't know the exact time it is, but it's Eastern Standard Time. This is Frankie Russo, and I'll see you in the future. I'll see you all in YouTube Live in the future, and I'll see you all in Facebook Live in the future. You better believe it. Frankie Russo coming out.